Imagine holding a treasure chest in your hands. Inside lies something ancient yet timeless, something so profound it has the potential to reshape your life. What if I told you this treasure has been sitting right in front of us, often overlooked, underestimated, and misunderstood? This is the Book of Proverbs, not just a collection of wise sayings, but a divine guide to navigating life's most profound questions. How should I live? Who should I trust? Where can I find peace, purpose, and direction? These aren't fleeting surface-level fixes. They're eternal truths gifted by God Himself. Now, think of Proverbs as a mirror, a spiritual reflection of your daily choices. It reveals the paths before you, showing the ones leading to fulfillment and those leading to destruction. This isn't about quick fixes or motivational sound bites. It's about transformation. It's about aligning your heart with God's wisdom and living a life anchored in eternal truths. Proverbs begins with a simple yet profound statement. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Proverbs 1:7. But let's pause. What does fear really mean here? This isn't terror or dread, it's a reverence that leaves you in awe. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves crashing with power, reminding you of how small you are yet how deeply loved you are by the Creator of it all. King Solomon, the author of much of Proverbs, understood this deeply. When God offered to grant him anything, Solomon didn't ask for wealth, power, or fame. He asked for wisdom to lead his people. In return, God gave him a wisdom unmatched by any other. Solomon's life teaches us that true wisdom isn't something we find within ourselves. It starts with recognizing God's sovereignty, His holiness, and His infinite understanding. The fear of the Lord humbles us. It reminds us that we are not the center of the universe. God is. Like clay in the hands of a potter, our lives are shaped by His hands. Wisdom begins when we acknowledge this truth, stepping back from our pride and allowing God to lead. The fear of the Lord is not merely an intellectual acknowledgement of God's greatness. It's an experience that transforms every fiber of our being. Imagine the feeling of standing beneath the vast canopy of a star-filled sky, each light a reminder of the infinite power and creativity of the one who spoke them into existence. This awe is what Proverbs invites us to embrace. It's not about shrinking back in terror, but leaning into the majesty of a God who holds the universe, yet cares intimately for each of us. Solomon understood this better than anyone. When he prayed for wisdom, he wasn't asking for clever strategies or practical tips to make his life easier. He was asking for something deeper, a heart that could discern the will of God. His request pleased the Lord because it wasn't self-centered. It was rooted in a reverence for God's authority. Solomon's humility in that moment serves as a powerful example for us. Wisdom begins when we stop relying on ourselves and start trusting the one who sees the beginning and the end. Think of the fear of the Lord as the foundation of a house. Without it, the structure cannot stand. No matter how beautiful the design or how carefully the walls are built, it will collapse without a strong base. Similarly, without reverence for God, even the greatest human knowledge crumbles under the weight of life's complexities. Proverbs reminds us that true wisdom is not a skill we acquire, but a gift we receive when we surrender our pride and acknowledge God as the ultimate source of understanding. This awe-inspiring fear shapes how we see everything, ourselves, others, and the world around us. It teaches us to recognize our limitations and the boundless capacity of God's wisdom. Picture a child standing at the edge of a deep canyon, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of what lies before them. That sense of smallness doesn't diminish the child. It fills them with wonder and reverence. This is the kind of awe that Proverbs calls us to live in daily. A posture that keeps us humble, teachable, and open to God's guidance. In a world that often glorifies self-sufficiency, this perspective is countercultural. We're taught to trust in our abilities, to find answers within ourselves, and to chase after temporary achievements. But Proverbs flips this narrative. It asks us to pause, to reflect, and to acknowledge that wisdom begins not with us, but with the fear of the Lord. It's an invitation to shift our focus from the temporal to the eternal, from self-reliance to divine dependence. Proverbs isn't just an old book filled with nice sayings, it's alive. Think of it like a lighthouse guiding ships through the darkest storms. Its truths illuminate paths in a world clouded by confusion and distractions. For example, consider Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Picture a garden. Surround yourself with healthy plants, and they'll inspire growth. But if you let weeds take over, they'll choke the life out of everything. This is the essence of relationships. Proverbs teaches us to walk alongside those who challenge us to grow, who sharpen us like iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27:17. In today's world, relationships are often treated casually or reduced to fleeting connections on social media. But Proverbs reminds us to choose friends intentionally, friends who uplift, encourage, and guide us closer to God. Just as Solomon's early wisdom was strengthened by godly counsel, his later downfall was influenced by relationships that led him astray. The stakes are high because relationships shape our character, our values, and ultimately our destiny. Proverbs is more than a guide, it's a lifeline, pulling us back from the brink of destruction. Imagine standing at a crossroads in a raging storm, two voices calling out. One, calm and steady, offers safety. The other, enticing but deceptive, leads to ruin. This is the battle Proverbs confronts head-on. Take Proverbs 14:12. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. It's a stark warning. Our instincts can mislead us. Life's decisions aren't just about what feels right. They demand wisdom grounded in God's truth. Like a map in uncharted territory, Proverbs exposes the pitfalls hidden behind easy choices, urging us to walk the narrow, life-giving path. But this wisdom requires action. Proverbs doesn't allow us to be passive observers. Its truths challenge us to choose integrity over shortcuts, purpose over distraction, and God's eternal perspective over fleeting gains. Each verse is a seed, capable of growing into life-transforming fruit, if we choose to let it take root. The beauty of Proverbs lies in its universality. These teachings aren't bound by time or culture. They apply as much to a king ruling a nation as to someone navigating the complexities of modern life. Take Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Picture your heart as a wellspring. If the water is pure, it nourishes everything around it. But if it's polluted, the damage spreads far and wide. In a world filled with noise and distractions, guarding your heart means protecting your thoughts, values, and focus. It's about filling your life with what's good, true, and eternal, rather than what's fleeting and hollow. This wisdom extends to every corner of our lives: relationships, work, finances, emotions, and even the way we handle conflict. Proverbs isn't about offering shallow solutions. It calls us to look deeper, challenging us to align every part of our lives with God's eternal truth. Solomon's life is both an inspiration and a warning. In his early years, his wisdom led him to honor God above all else. But as time passed, his heart grew divided. Wealth, power, and relationships distracted him from the God who had given him everything. His writings in Ecclesiastes reflect the emptiness of pursuing life apart from God. When Solomon says, "Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind," Ecclesiastes 12:13, he speaks from experience. The fear of the Lord isn't just the beginning of wisdom, it's the foundation that sustains it. Without this reverence, even the wisest among us can lose our way. Imagine standing before a mountain, its peaks reaching into the heavens. You feel small, yet connected to something greater than yourself. This is the kind of awe Proverbs invites us into. It's a fear that humbles us, transforms us, and draws us closer to God. It shifts our perspective, reminding us that true wisdom comes not from self-reliance, but from surrender. Proverbs teaches us that the people we surround ourselves with are like mirrors, reflecting back qualities that either draw us closer to God or pull us away from Him. In Proverbs 22:24-25, we're warned, "Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared." Relationships are never neutral. They're either building us up or breaking us down. Imagine a ship navigating stormy seas. A wise captain chooses a trustworthy crew to help steer the ship safely. In the same way, Proverbs challenges us to be intentional about our crew, those we let into the most intimate parts of our lives. Surround yourself with people who sharpen you, who challenge you to grow, and who walk with you in faith. These are the friendships that act as sturdy shelters in life's storms. Proverbs isn't just a book for ancient Israel. It's a guide for every person, in every place, at every time. Its truths are eternal because they reflect the unchanging character of God. They are like a compass, pointing us toward the path of righteousness, regardless of the shifting tides of culture or circumstance. Think of Proverbs 16:3, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." It's a reminder that no matter how carefully we plan, true success comes from surrendering those plans to God. Like a gardener planting seeds, we can nurture and prepare, but only God can bring the harvest. And just as a gardener trusts in the rain and the sun for growth, we are called to trust in God's perfect timing and provision for our lives. This timeless wisdom speaks to our deepest struggles: how to handle money with integrity, how to guard against pride, how to find peace in a restless world. It goes beyond addressing surface-level problems and penetrates the heart, offering a foundation that remains steady when everything else feels uncertain. Proverbs is not just advice, it's a manual for living a life that reflects God's goodness, strength, and love, anchoring us in truths that will never fade. The book of Proverbs is more than just wisdom, it's an invitation. It calls us to lay down our pride, to embrace humility, and to align our lives with God's eternal truths. It's not about collecting knowledge, but about allowing that knowledge to transform our hearts. Imagine standing at a crossroads with two paths stretching before you. One leads to fulfillment, joy, and peace, the other to destruction and emptiness. Proverbs is the map, showing us the way to choose life. But the choice is ours. As we close, let these words take root in your soul. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's a fear that liberates, not enslaves. It's an awe that brings us closer to the heart of our Creator, the source of all understanding. So what will you choose? Will you continue chasing fleeting answers in a chaotic world? Or will you dive into the timeless truths of Proverbs, allowing them to shape your heart, your mind, and your life. The invitation is clear. Open the book of Proverbs. Let its wisdom guide you. And as you walk this path, may you find not just answers, but a deeper connection to the God who is calling you to a life of purpose, peace, and eternal truth. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of history. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.